Hey guys, Adrian Kogian here for the Digital Dojos for another Digital Dojos exclusive. So you can kind of see this rumor roundup over at digitaldojos.com. Today I want to talk about our iPhone 5 rumors, all of that stuff that is being jumbled about in the news, in the rumor mills about the iPhone. And I found this, which I've had for quite a while, and this is the very, very first iPhone. You can see here, this is the original iPhone, first gen, before the 3G. When I think back, I think the 3G was the first one, but I totally forgot about this one right here. And since then, I've been an iPhone user. I've been a huge iPhone user. Went from this to 3G. I did skip out on the 3GS. I went to the 4, and now I'm currently in the 4S. And along the time, I also got into repairing and fixing iPhones, iPod Touches, iPads, etc. So I got to know a lot about the whole hardware aspect along with the iOS aspect of the ins and outs of the iPhone, literally the ins and outs. This is actually a lot. I always have a lot of leftover repair screws and extra screws and stuff like that. When people break their iPhones, I collect those and I part it out and stuff like that. So this has nothing to do with iPhones, but anyways, again, I was huge into the iPhone repairs. You can see here I have a bunch of parts just laying around the desk, like I mentioned. So I got a real in-depth look at parts and all of that, and I wanted to break down my iPhone 5 rumor, what I think is going to be implemented, not implemented. And I want to say a lot of these sources are actually from the rumor sites out there, iMore, Mac Rumors, all those great, great places that cover the rumors more more frequently than I do. So I'm using a lot of sources and picture material from their sites. So of course, do check them out. And do keep in mind, these are just rumors. These are just stuff that you can never be 100% sure. Nobody can ever be 110% sure. Even the people who have these from like legit sources, Apple can go ahead and turn something else and decide, we're gonna X this out, we're gonna implement something else. So with that, let's jump right in. Number one, let's talk about the design. The design has been hugely talked about, and right now what we're looking at is going to be a unibody design that may be implemented in the iPhone with an all glass back or without a glass back. So if you're familiar, again, referencing to the first iPhone, this was a solid, I think I would say this is aluminum with a plastic backing. This plastic backing is mandatory in that it is needed for the actual metal, or it's needed for the radio to transfer out. And I don't know where my iPhone 4S is. It's currently, I put it somewhere, I don't know where it is, but my iPhone 4S, if I had that around, that has also, the standard backing. Actually, I have one right here. So this is the backing of an iPhone 4S by itself, just, plain old by itself. And the reason they use this type of material is so it's easier for the radio bands for 3G Wi-Fi to travel through throughout the phone. So there's talks about a unibody design where that the back would be meshed with the actual phone, much like this design, like I said before. Now, a lot of people say this is awesome because you don't have to worry as much about taking the, what do you call it, dropping your phone in the back and the glass breaking, because a lot of people had issues with that. And a lot of people say, it's a nicer aspect and design wise. But from a hardware standpoint and look, engineers actually, I think this may spell more troubles, I think, for an iPhone because commonly people drop their backs of the phones and get to replace a lot of these. These are like $15, $20 maybe at most. Very, very easy to replace. Two screws pop out, slide it in. I can do that in less than 5 minutes. Now, more likely if you damage something like a unibody iPhone, there's more tendency for it to dent, mess up more components, etc. It absorbs all that shock. So I'm thinking if it does do this unibody design, we're going to have a little bit more problems with repairs and stuff like that. And again, these are just rumors and looks about the screen size and the overall design. Nothing has really been solid, but right now we're looking most likely at a unibody sort of design. Moving on to the screen. The screen has been highly talked about as well. There's tons of rumors saying it's going to be a 4-inch screen. It's going to be taller, wider, or I should say taller-wise, or taller vertically. That's the word I was looking for. And that we're going to have implementation of a new resolution for iOS. We're going to have now 5 icon docks, or 5 icon rows, I should say, on the iOS, which is something I'm familiar with, or if you are a jailbreak user, you're much familiar with. There's also talk about implementing a 16:9 in this Retina display because, Apple hasn't really done much since the Retina display upgrades. The iOS homepage has been kind of very, very simple and very basic, and back to the very early generations of the iPhone, it's been pretty standard. So there's rumors about the 4-inch screen, the 16:9 screen. Overall, we're looking at a bigger and more, not as much as a high quality screen because Retina is really high quality as is, but just a bigger display overall. So that's a screen. Breaking down the hardware, this is another look at that unibody design. There's tons of talk about the new dock connector, which is pretty certain. I think is 100% going to be. We're going to see it implemented in this iPhone design. I'm really liking this sleek black design, how they implement the black along the edges on the actual bezel of the iPhone. This again is just a mock-up, and people are just rumors of leaks of pictures and stuff like that. But the new dock connector is going to be, I believe, a 9-pin compared to the 30-pin you standardly have in iPhones, iPods, iPads, etc. This reduces the capacity. So here is a look at a dock on an old iPod Touch here. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but basically this leaves you room for more components. And I know they're using like higher pins or something like that for transfer rates and all of that. So it leaves room for more components and shortening the dock size, and then that gives more room for the speakers on the bottom. So we're hopefully going to see some better quality speakers. The only thing about this is people are saying legacy-wise, a lot of people have this traditional 30-pin, docks, 30-pin charger cables, 30-pin mounts, whatever it may be for their speaker systems or whatever. So most likely Apple is gonna come out with a 9-pin to 30-pin traditional 30-pin adapter of some sort that we'll probably see. Other hardware is going to include, probably we're going to see some better cameras. I'm hoping most likely more or not we're going to see the front-facing camera probably go to 720p. That's my prediction, while the back will probably remain around 1080p, maybe just better photo quality. A possible A6 processor upgrade, or they'll just stick with the A5 line. We'll see how that goes. Definitely we'll see RAM upgrades. Usually they're a little bit silent about that. They don't really talk about the RAM, but probably that. And GPU wise, it's just going to be a better gaming, mobile gaming platform overall. Lastly, let's talk about iOS 6. So what are we expected? iOS 6 is going to be bundled with this new iPhone, and software is just as important as the hardware. So like I talked about earlier, we're gonna see the new home screen layout. I think we're gonna see the upgraded home screen. They have to do at least a little bit of something, whether it's adding an extra row or whatever it may be, more customizable options. We already know about the Facebook integration, the Twitter integration, the new iMaps application. So we all know about the new apps and the new ticket app, whatever it's, I think it's called like First Pass or something like that, coming to the iPhone. So we know about those new apps. Also updates to stock apps, along with Maps going out and iMaps coming in. They're removing YouTube. So in the latest beta of iOS 6, there's a lot of controversy with Apple kind of shying away from Google products, and now Google is going to be forced to make their own YouTube app in the App Store, which I think is going to work out for the better for Google, because we get a solid YouTube app, which has needed updating for a while. There's also talk about a new color scheme update, in that they're gonna retheme the way our standard user interface looks to a more white and black traditional look. And from what I've seen from the pictures, looks really, really solid. I do hope it gets implemented, but again, it is something that's kind of wish-washy. Lastly, we're gonna see a lot of Siri API updates. We're gonna see it be able to integrate with stuff like Sports Center, sports scores, more common questions that we can ask it. More integration with the apps and daily things like updating Facebook or Twitter statuses. So we're gonna see Siri overall get a huge haul, and obviously it's gonna be, I think, or it is implemented on the iPad much more nicely and seamlessly. Overall, Siri is just gonna be that much more better, because currently it's still in beta and it's it still works out pretty great. So these are my rumors, these are my roundups, these are my thoughts process on what's to come with the iPhone from my viewpoint, for somebody who's repaired them, broken them down, took them apart, dissected them, all of that. We're going to see an iPhone 5 with obviously a faster hardware implemented. We're going to see, I think, a bigger screen, a overall nice design. I'm thinking they're going to go with the unibody. It's going to be a sleek design, but standing with that kind of brick or square-like design. Rather, a lot of people are thinking it's going to go back to the rounded of the 3G or the curve. I think we're going to stay with that brick design of the 4 type model. So I am Adrian from DigitalDojos.com. For more content, obviously head over to DigitalDojos.com. And of course on YouTube, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.